right, it's thebarlive.com, live from the Sunbrew House here in sunny residential Dallas, Texas. I'm Pugs Moran, as always, here at thebarlive.com. Jimmy's here. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Jimmy, I don't know if I'm hearing you in the microphone.
There we go.
There you are. Sam the Mailman is also here. Hi, Sam.
Hey, what's up? Very excited. Tomorrow's the premiere of the new Justin Bieber video on MTV called Boyfriend.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they're doing a sneak peek right now on MTV, on Twitter, it says.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the Bieb.
The Bieb. Now, do we see the Bieb being around in 10 years, or is the Bieb...
Well, he's gotten a little more, this new song is supposed to be a lot more sexual, and people are like, the Bieb's growing up a little bit.
How old is...
He's 18 now.
The Bieb. Oh, he's 18. And how old was he when he first came on our radar? About 16?
13. No, he was younger than that, yeah.
Well, my radar. My radar. He was probably around for a couple of years before I ever noticed him.
Yeah, when did he, take over Twitter? Like, when did that happen?
2 years ago? About 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me that I first became really aware of him when his movie came out. Now, I knew that he existed before that. I knew that he was a celebrity and one of these damn internet celebrities that I didn't know. But, yeah, he's had about a really good 2-year run.
Yeah, it was discovered in 2008, and then his first big single was 2009.
Okay, all right, yeah. And I probably didn't know him at his first big single, so it probably took
You weren't there when they dropped the first one?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't on the Bieb train that early. But, I'll tell you this about the Bieb, and it's always easy to sort of mock and denigrate these kinds of performers, especially when they're kids and we're bitter men. We failed at things, and we get resentful when we see this 16-year-old kid driving a car that we'll never own, living in a house that we could never even allow ourselves to dream of living in, and we get a bit resentful. But all truth aside, I kind of like the Bieb. I've seen him on numerous interviews. Mm-hmm. I watched about 45 minutes of that damn Justin Bieber documentary. What's it called? Brandon always.
Oh, we could put it on right now. Brandon has it over there.
He always talks about it.
Never say never?
It's very good. It's very interesting. If you like documentaries, and I love documentaries. I'll watch 5 documentaries in a row. I don't have a problem with that. If that's all there is that's on TV, the documentary channel, I'll sit and watch it. World War II, Golden Era Hollywood, the fall of the stock market. I don't care. I will watch a documentary on it. And the Justin Bieber documentary was not so much about Justin Bieber as much as it is about the machine that creates pop superstars. And it was fascinating.
So it didn't have how he's a Christian. He has a relationship with Jesus, talks to him, and then he's the reason I'm here. And then talking about in Rolling Stone about abstinence, he says, I don't think you should have sex with anyone unless you love them. He does not believe in abortion. That is like killing a baby. He says sexual orientation.
It's like killing a baby.
It's like killing a baby.
It kind of is.
He describes sexual orientation as everyone's own decision.
Good.
He's got 20 million followers.
See, but he's got to say that. See, he's an entertainment Christian.
Right.
Entertainment Christian have homosexuals doing their hair and doing everything. So you really can't go public with you people are subhuman. So you got the entertainment Christian allows him to be tolerant of homosexuals.
And he says he has no interest in becoming a U.S. citizen. He criticizes the American healthcare system, and he praises Canada as being the best country in the world.
All right. Let's go to war then, bitch. Canada, best country in the world. Canada does a lot of things right. Yeah, anybody, you ever been to Canada?
I haven't.
Sam, you ever been to Canada? You're up there in the Northeast, maybe? No?
No, never.
Never?
I want to.
Not even on like a weekend? Hey, let's go up to Toronto and get some Molson. Hey, no, none of that?
No, never.
All right. I've been to Canada. I've been to Toronto. And I've been to Windsor. And I'll tell you this. Windsor, if you ever find yourself in Detroit, get out. Go to Windsor. It's right across the river. It's not Detroit. And yet, you still have everything that you'd want in Detroit.
Nice. So that's the easy way out.
It's the easy way out. And
So
it's where they keep all the titty bars and stuff, too, over in Windsor, Ontario.
So what are people doing staying in Detroit?
Well, they don't. They go to Windsor for their entertainment needs. They do. I mean, that's back in the day. I remember the Chicago Bulls when they were the Beatles of the NBA back in the '90s. They used to love the Detroit trips because Jordan was a big gambler, and they'd always end up over in Windsor, Ontario, shutting down a casino after they blew out the Pistons by 20. It was that's how we started going. the Bulls made Windsor cool. So, you want to check it out. It's all, it's Canada. They don't care. Live free or die in America, sure. But in Canada, they really want you to live free. You
Plus-
can do anything in Windsor, Ontario.
Well, in Canada, period.
It's clean.
Yeah, didn't you say that the beer's a lot stronger, the strip clubs are a lot nicer, you can drink on you can smoke pot anywhere. Like I remember Joe Rogan at a Vancouver UFC fight was talking about the smell in there, how everyone was smoking pot.
There are you talk about the gentlemen's clubs in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. You say they're nicer. They're not necessarily nicer because we've got some really nice strip clubs here in Dallas. But you know what there isn't? You will not find a Los Chiques Bonitas in Windsor, Ontario. You won't find a seat in a gentleman's club that has a giant cigar stain or cigar burn in it, It's everything is the lodge in the men's club. Wow. Everything is nice there. And there's a ton of them. They're all over the place.
That's insane. This is a totally, not that I had a completely different idea of what it would be like, but it sounds almost as if they get all the different things that we have to pocket into certain areas. You got you're able to smoke weed in California, you're able to gamble in Nevada. Canada, you just go there and you're able to do this.
Go there, get some back bacon, drink some beer, and look at some nice looking girls and boobs. And first of all, let's talk about the Canadian people too, because this is all because Justin Bieber said that Canada is the best country on earth. Canada has unbelievable women. They really do. And when they're not dating American nerds who claim, my girlfriend in Canada, that whole thing. Canadian women are beautiful. They really are. And Canadian comedy is some of the best comedy on earth. So they got a couple things going for them.
Yeah.
But, in a border war throwdown, Biebs, you better choose a side. You better be the right one. Because, we ain't getting taken down by Canadians.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But, everything else, they seem to be doing pretty well.
They are. They're doing fine. They are doing fine. Canadians are happy.
Yeah.
And look, politically speaking, I don't know what socialized healthcare would do. I don't know what, an actual viable socialist party in power, which is what Canada has. The Socialist Party isn't relegated to the outer tiers of the voting blocks like it is here in America. The Socialist Party in Canada is there's Republicans, Democrats, and Socialists. They're all in the mix, and the people, they haven't been demonized, and so there's sort of an acceptance there, more of a political open-mindedness that we don't have here. That is maybe nicer, but
maybe
then
healthier.
Again, they ain't a world power. Look, we do all these things. All of these problems that we have all been done in the name of being a world power. Here we are. We're like the dude who goes to the gym in order to get really big and get a hot chick, and then he does roids, he gets really big, and then he can't bang the hot chick.
Yeah.
As we are. We've created this superpower utopia, but it's not necessarily a utopia, is it? It's
Canada
not.
has it pretty good. Just stay off to the side.
Ride our wake.
Stay out of the way.
Shake and bake. We're the shake and they're the bake. They're right off our wing, man, all the time. There's nothing wrong with being Tonto, and that is what Canada is.
Yeah, if I was to call dibs on a landmass, if everybody was just doing a free-for-all as to where you're going, I saw America go there, I'd be right next to him. I'd be like, I get that one.
Yeah, next door neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't be lured by the sandy beaches of Mexico. I want to take Canada. Don't take Mexico. There's too many problems there. All right, so what else with Justin Bieber? We were talking about Justin Bieber.
Oh, that was everything.
He just bought a $3 million stabbing cabin. It's not even his real place. It's in Malibu.
Well, I'm back to hating him again. That didn't take long.
I know. Yeah, what are you going to do? All right, normally we start the show out here at thebarlive.com with some kind of news segment. Sam, do you have any stuff you want to throw out? This is really, it's not so much the news. It's more, Sam watched The View today. And these are things that they talked about on The View that we now will be discussing. Is there anything there that you want to throw out?
Let me see.
We need a cough button. Internet radio, we need a cough button.
There was a German man that tried to pay for his cab ride with weed in Germany, got arrested.
Okay.
He took his taxi ride. They found 31 cannabis plants in his flat after they arrested him for trying to pay pot. That's 12.5 ounces of cannabis, as well as scales and cannabis oils.
How much weed did he give him? Here's what we know. We need to know what the cab ride was.
It doesn't
how much
say.
weed he was
It
getting.
doesn't say how much he was offering. He said he told the police officers the plants were for his personal consumption, as he didn't want to rely on dealers.
You know, and that's what the Germans are good for, is efficiency. And he picked up on that, and he was not having anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So good for him.
They make the trains run on time.
Yeah.
Right to the death camp. That's, nobody was ever late to the death camp.
Never. It was always on time.
Yeah. Sam, anything else?
We've got.
I'm sorry, I caught you off.
I just have any of these. How about the number, since we're on drugs?
Okay.
The number of U.S. newborns with drug withdrawals has tripled. Moms are using drugs and then giving birth, and then their babies are already in rehab.
Moms are using drugs. What kind of, like...
A lot of illegal narcotics like Vicodin, Oxycontin, and heroin, researchers say. It's the first national study of this problem. The number of newborns with withdrawal symptoms increased from a little more than 1 per 1,000 babies in 2009 to more than 13,000 babies now since 2009.
I'll tell you something. Barbaric, the way women have to change their lifestyle once they get pregnant. And this is not something that's been happening for, say, 40 years. I am certain that first of all, I should say, full disclosure here, I was born ridiculously premature. I was born at like 4 pounds. I was like 7 weeks early. I was in an incubator for the first month or so of my life. At one point in time, I was the smallest baby born in this hospital in Cook County, Illinois, that survived.
Wow.
Now that's different. Babies are born at like 3 ounces now, and they survive. But back in 69, 70, when I was born, that was rare, that a 4-pound baby would survive and flourish and become fat. So, really, that's my goal. My gift, life was the gift that I was given. And being fat is the way I say thank you. Because I was very small as a baby.
You got to defy those odds.
But I have absolutely, I don't know what the common perception of the female pregnancy was back then, but I'll say this. I am almost certain that my mother drank wine while she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. I'm not even altogether sure that she stopped smoking when she was pregnant.
Yeah, I know that my mom didn't.
And you were born in 78, something like that? 79?
83.
Oh, 83. Okay, so you're even younger than I thought. Yeah, look, generations of Americans have been born to drunken mothers. Mm-hmm. Sure, there was a bit of a problem with the fetal alcohol syndrome, and that was, that was something that you blame. Anything a kid did at 12 years old was always blamed on fetal alcohol syndrome in the womb. But, we survived. People survived. Mothers had to take care of themselves, and men held doors open for them, and they didn't carry heavy boxes upstairs and stuff like that. The way you would treat anyone who's pregnant, it's just common courtesy. It's respect for motherhood. But this whole thing of like, okay, you can have 1 drink of wine per week. If you smoke, you have to stop smoking. You have to go off all your sleeping meds. You have to go off. I think that's a little bit of overkill. I really do. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There are kids walking the streets now who are 18 years old who were crack babies, who are, for all intents and purposes, perfectly healthy. They were just born to a crack baby mom, so they live, they're probably in jail now. But that has nothing to do with physical limitations that were, thrown on them at birth.
It gives us something new to work on too, these issues,
Well,
if we find out,
Go ahead.
Oh no, and if we find out that that people are really pounding them down now, and we have like a fetal alcohol syndrome situation, maybe the doctors can work on that. The scientists can get back to it.
Do you know how many times, when I was with a pregnant woman, where I just wanted them to just take a chill pill, just take something. It's not going to do anything. The baby's going to be fine. All that. Look, these babies, man. This is. Yeah, did you ever make a project in like a biology class that was supposed to grow and something went horribly wrong with it? That's really what babies are. If something's going to go wrong with a baby, it's going to go wrong. It's just in the cards. I don't know how to. My first son who passed away, my wife was like a prisoner for the entire 9 months. She did nothing. And she did nothing with Mason as well. She did the exact same thing, both pregnancies. There was no smoke around her. She wouldn't even be in a smoky room with people. And that baby died at birth. So, there's absolutely nothing that will say, if you do this, it's going to be fine. I mean, I'm sure that there are something. I'm sure that there's probably doctors who've done research. But I just think that it's overkill. I think that we grab onto an idea and then we take it to the extreme, and you don't always have to be the extreme.
Test the genes a bit before the baby
See how
comes
resilient
out.
this kid is.
Yeah.
I don't give birth to no pussy. Come on. I want this kid to know that life sucks and you're born with a hangover. That's,
Let him know, oh, this is how it's going to be while he's still in there.
Now, I'm not advocating that women should, go and party and all that, but, whatever.
Yeah, there is a happy medium. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to see all the pregnant people come into the bar and just start getting hammered. But there's definitely...
No, I don't want to see that at all.
Yeah, there's definitely a happy medium where, if they're sitting around the house, they're just so anxious, so uncomfortable, and they can't have one single glass of wine because that's against the rules.
Look,
that is crazy.
A shot of vodka to calm your ass down is not going to give my son wings. He's not going to be born with a tail, a horn, and a pitchfork. It's not going to happen. The human body's more resilient than that. It can handle that. Now, I don't want you drinking a quart of vodka every day. Then we're going to have a problem. Then you're going to have a problem, and thus the baby is going to have a problem. But all of these sort of self-imposed restrictions and these just suffocating limitations that we put on these pregnant women. Look, I'm all for, carry the box up the stairs for them, hold the door open for them, bed rest, foot massages. Don't fight. Don't fight. If you are with a pregnant woman, don't fight with her. For 9 months, everything that she says is right and everything that you say is wrong. You got to hold your tongue because aggravation, can cause issues, or so they say. But every once in a while, man, a glass of wine. If you quit smoking because you're pregnant, just keep smoking a little bit because you're driving everybody nuts with this. You're pregnant. You've got all that comes with being pregnant, and now you're nick fitting. So now you're also just completely out of your mind, horrible.
And then as the guy, you are the one that gets to stick around there.
Yeah, and put up with
out.
it all. Yeah. I had a couple cigarettes. You don't have to quit cold turkey. And what about these women who wait like a week or a month to go to the doctor? And then suddenly, Saturday night, they're dancing on a tabletop, doing shots, talking about, I got a doctor's appointment on Monday. Mm-hmm. And then Monday at noon, suddenly they can't have anything ever again. Well, you were pregnant for like a month. And you did all of this stuff. You don't have to just hit the brake. Just, ease into it. Certainly a life change is expected. You're going to become a mother. But Jesus, you put yourself these restrictions and you just make life horrible for everybody. Speaking of pregnant women partying it up, there's a story here. It's the University of Iowa. Anyone familiar with the University of Iowa?
Heard of them, the Hawkeyes?
Sure, the Hawkeyes. They got this bar there at the University of Iowa. It's called the Union. Probably your typical college town bar. Everybody goes there on Friday nights and Saturday nights after football games and all that stuff. A lot of craziness in college town bars. Want to know why?
College town?
College town. That's why. That's exactly why. These are half the kids in a college town bar are not 21 years old.
Yeah.
Half the kids are 19, 20. They're using their sister's ID or whatever the case is. But half those kids are not old enough, so it's not like going to a bar and, socializing with friends. It's craziness. Right. Loud music, dancing on tables, people making out everywhere, fights on the dance floor, fights in the parking lot. It's a free-for-all. It's a college bar. A University of Iowa student who claims she was discriminated against by an Iowa City bar over the size of her body says a student protest at the establishment is still on for this Friday, despite a public apology issued by the owner. Now, here's the deal. Sam, this is one of those bars where the ladies are encouraged to strut their stuff on some stage in the middle of the bar. Hey, sweet cheeks here, have another shot of a fuzzy nipple and then get up on that stage and strut your stuff. And, well, should you lose the top for a couple of seconds, ain't nobody going to tell no one. You know what I mean? It's like one of those kinds of places. Mm-hmm. But this bar has a rule about who's allowed to get up on the stage.
They have standards.
Not unlike Coyote Ugly, which was a chain of bars and restaurants that was around where they would get up on the bar and dance. And you had to be a Coyote Ugly girl to get up there and dance. Mm-hmm. One just, you couldn't just walk in and go, I want to dance too. I mean, you could, but more than... Actually, I have to take this back.
Yeah.
Because now that I think about it, I've seen a lot of hoggy women standing on bar tops dancing. Mm. So it's not like an exclusive club, really.
No, I've never actually seen them pull girls off because of the way that they've looked, which I think that's why she probably feels really singled out because
Yeah.
that has to feel really bad. But I have seen them just in case, like if it was just like workers at a certain point, then they would pull off the people that aren't.
I have seen people pulled off of bars from dancing because they were too drunk.
Yeah.
Because they looked like they were going to fall or they were
Yeah.
just a mess. I've seen that. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, it is pretty common to see, you know how like when 4 hot chicks go out together, they always get a not hot chick to drive? You know,
Yeah.
there's always like one grenade, you
Yeah.
know, in the back. Well, when the grenade gets up on the bar, it's, you know, that's when you're like, oh, okay, so they don't have standards here. Which apparently it would be illegal to have standards, as this Iowa City bar called the Union is finding out. Here's the problem. Girl's name is Jordan Ramos. Okay. She was a patron. Here, I'll just read you the story. Jordan Ramos told the Press Citizen last Saturday that security guards at the Union Bar prohibited her from dancing on a platform overlooking the bar because she was, quote, not pretty enough. And here's the other thing. She was told to get down off the bar and stop dancing because, in her words, I'm not pretty enough and I'm obviously pregnant.
Wow.
Let that sink in.
Wow.
The balls on this girl, the fallopian tubes on this girl that she thinks she's got a case against a bar who saw a drunk pregnant, well, I have to assume drunk. I mean,
But even just
a pregnant girl in a bar dancing, and they said, get off. Now, she says that it was because she wasn't good enough. And they're kind of saying, that's because you're pregnant, man. And that ain't
Yeah.
cool. You fall off our bar because somebody spilt their cocktail, and suddenly, you know, you go into birth on the dance floor, and the baby's not born, you know, but unfortunately stillborn or whatever. No way. We don't need this. We don't need a pregnant woman up here.
Or just, I mean, if you go into a bar, maybe this is the first time you're going to check this place out. First thing you look at is a pregnant girl dancing on top of it.
You don't want to see that.
No, I should have known better to walk into this place. I've walked past this place every single day for this entire semester. I decided to walk in one time, and there was a pregnant girl dancing on the bar.
Hey, is that a good website? Pregnant women behaving badly? Just, you know, pictures of pregnant women doing...
Does that exist?
I think it should. I
Yeah.
think we should start it right now and just encourage people all over the world to send pictures or videos of pregnant women behaving badly.
I think that would be a genius site.
I think it would. All right, very
That's
good.
viral all over it.
Look at this. Yes, it sure does. C says, the 21-year-old says, others have since come forward to make similar claims of discrimination against the Union Bar. One such person is a former bar bouncer. His name is Austin Fall. Jeez, Austin. You know, is every other 20-year-old these days named Austin?
I have noticed that.
You know, it's like there are so many Austins, so many Bradleys. Ugh. I don't remember any of those names in the Bible. What happened to the good biblical names like John, James, Paul?
Have you ever
Sam.
seen, geez, I wish I could think of the name of it. But there's a documentary that basically talks about like the rotation of names as they come out and like different reasons why people gravitate towards certain names. Freakonomics, that's what it is. But it's really good about that, actually. It will tell you, basically, people will run away from the names that are being used at the time. And basically, you find a pattern in like where the names just rotate back over. So we'll be back to the biblical ones like a couple generations.
Do you know what we're back to biblical with females because I saw something that Mary is a huge name for little girls again.
Oh,
Mary. It doesn't get more biblical than the name Mary.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
bringing it back Old Testament.
But then again, there's a lot of like, you know, Catholic minorities that are having kids. So Mary, you know, Mary, be it Mary or Maria, it's the same name. I think there's always going to be a place. There's always going to be girls named that. All right, so the 21-year-old pregnant chick gets taken off the bar at the Union Bar there in Iowa City. And they say, she says it's because I wasn't pretty enough. They say, no, stop it. It's because you're pregnant. Just stop it. Dial this back. Don't let everybody know that you were pregnant dancing on a bar. But no, she's going through with a big student-run protest of the bar. Boy, these damn students, they will protest anything, won't they?
Yes.
Isn't this idiotic?
Yes.
I mean, I'm all for students getting involved, and I don't like people being disengaged from society and culture. And this is good that they're at least doing something. But how many of these people are going to go into that bar and drink after they're done protesting out in
Right.
front.
Protest from inside.
Right, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, I'll come in a second. Oh,
Yeah.
I promised my roommate that I would do this for 20 minutes. And really. Okay, so the pregnant girl is up on the bar and she's dancing, and she is saying that the bar itself has a policy, and this was Austin Fall, a former bouncer with an axe to grind, has basically taken her side and said, oh yeah, no, we were told specifically that if a girl who was not hot, or let's be honest, what does not hot mean? Let's be when someone says, I don't want any chicks that aren't hot up on the bar. Because
ugly?
Because ugly, that's, that depends, man.
Yeah.
What I think is there are people who think that the chick from Sex and the City is hot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so that's
Yeah.
that depends on your taste. It means fat. No ugly girls on the stage dancing means no fat girls. That's really all it is. Because
Yeah, I guess it is.
You can get away with anything in life, just don't be fat.
Is that your life advice?
That is my life advice, said the guy who's about 50 pounds overweight. But it is absolutely true. Just don't be fat.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are fat, have a lot of money, because then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you're a regular person in life and you want to find happiness and all this stuff, don't be fat. It's as simple as that. I know that sounds incredibly crass and it even seems shallow, but it isn't, because it's true. Don't be fat, said the guy who's 50 pounds overweight. And my life is in the toilet, so maybe if I lost 40 pounds, I would feel a little bit better about myself. But that really is true. That's what they're saying. No fat chicks.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking that at first, but when the second you said that, I totally agreed.
I have seen butt ugly women put a bikini on, and guys go, dude,
Yeah.
her body is smoking. Dude, who knew? Her body. So guys will get past, a gigantic nose and busted teeth, all that stuff. If you can put together a nice body, if you get in the gym and you got a nice body, forget about it. You're a hot chick again. How many girls do we see on there's a lot of these Jersey Shore girls, that aren't hot. They play it up well. They're
Right.
working. They get in the gym and they rock that body, and now look.
There's a great YouTube video that's out there. It's done by a girl, and it says it's something like how to make yourself look sexy if you're not. And she starts out, she has no makeup on, and she's definitely not very attractive. She goes through a little bit of makeup, takes about 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, I swear she was a girl that would turn your head as you walk into a club.
Makeup.
Yeah. And it's unbelievable.
The great lie.
Yeah.
It's a huge lie.
It is.
It's a big deception. All right, so let's talk about the bar. The bar itself, whether it does or does not have this policy, they are saying that they do not, but a former worker says that they absolutely do. The Iowa City bar that will not allow fat girls or ugly girls or unattractive girls, however you want to phrase it. I say it just all boils down to fat. They don't allow fat girls on their stage. Student protest coming up this Friday. Students at the University of Iowa are saying, no, sir, we don't mind if unattractive people are up on the bar, and you shouldn't either. And the whole time, this tempest in a teapot is brewing. The bar's going, she was pregnant! Dude, what are you doing here? She was pregnant. We did the right freaking thing.
Yeah.
We did the right thing. I'm sure her parents are very proud of us. She wasn't taken down because she was unattractive. She was taken down because she was pregnant. All right, so let's forget about the fact that she was pregnant. If you open a bar and, you're going to allow people to climb up on the bar and dance, this is going to get into a lot of very tricky issues about equal rights and all that. Mm-hmm. But don't you think you have the right as the bar owner to say, no, get off the bar. No, you're not supposed to be on the bar anyway. If we're letting you up on the bar, it's because of management and I'm taking this risk.
Yeah.
That's something you're not going to fall, break your leg, and sue me for everything because I served you too much. I mean, it seems to me that you should be allowed to say, you know what, no, I don't want this person breaking that rule in here. Because I have to assume that dancing in the bar or dancing on top of the bar is essentially you can't do this rule.
Right.
If you and I walked into the corner bar right there in the strip mall by the dollar store and the 7-Eleven, if you and I walked in there right after this show, did a shot, put some music in the jukebox, and they went, dude, let's get on the bar. They wouldn't let us. They wouldn't let us.
That would be the greatest set of videos, though,
Wouldn't
ever.
Dude, like middle of the day, not even a party scene, nothing. Just, man, I really feel like busting a move on top of this bar.
Oh, I've been hoping you would say you wanted to dance.
Do you mind? And you start to like get up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look, if the bar wants to say, you know what, no, you can't get up on this bar. Don't bars and restaurants offer, don't they have the right to refuse service?
Yeah.
All right, isn't that an incomplete sentence?
Yeah.
Ownership has the right to refuse service.
Mm-hmm.
To anyone? You
Yeah.
have the right to. So I mean, what isn't that in and of itself a discriminatory act? But every place you go to has that sign. We have the right to refuse service.
Yeah. It's
Because
actually
you're
really
ugly.
well done. Yeah. It's really well worded because you leave it open-ended. Whoever walks in that you want to discriminate against, you say, look, you read that. It applies to you.
Now, I have long said that, these small little jerkwater towns that, the diner, it doesn't want the colored sitting with the white folks at the diner. I've always said that's fine. They should be allowed to do that. And everyone in the town should know that that's the place with the racist owner. And,
Yep.
It's 2012.
Yeah.
Do you really want to go get a nice patty melt from the Klan? I mean, I think that the way our system is set up, that in this modern society, that place will not be in business very long with those kinds of business ideas. They will not. They will not survive. Unless, I guess there are certain issues, and it's a much more complicated problem than I'm probably letting on. But just at its base, it seems to me like we, the public, should decide whether or not somebody is running their business properly. And if we deem that they are not, then we will not frequent their business, and thus their business will go under. That's how it works. I don't think you should force people to be good businessmen.
Right.
If somebody wants to be a bad businessman and eliminate half their process and you alienate the community and mark themselves as a racist, well, you just did that. It's America. You have a right to be a racist jackass. And we have a right as the community to sort of say, no, we don't want any of you.
Well, and in opening up your business as a bad businessman, you had to buy things from other businesses, so you kept them afloat. It worked out for everybody else. And like having businesses like that where it is openly run by a racist guy reminds us that we're supposed to be voting with our money.
Yep.
So and we don't get that reminder too often. Like it's usually all clean-cut businesses now that we just throw our money at. If we had some of those to remind us, sometimes you don't want to give money to certain people. Like that would be a nice reminder.
Yeah. I mean, every time I go to the corner little burger joint, I love that burger joint. It's great. It's a little mom and pop place. But what if it turns out that the guy who owns the burger joint is a crazy racist?
Yeah.
If you want to make that known, I won't go there and buy your burgers anymore.
Yeah.
And probably a bunch of other people do. I mean, so it certainly is complicated, and we should all, I guess what I'm asking people to do in saying let's get rid of all these laws, I'm just asking people to be decent to one another. If we could all just be decent to one another, then we wouldn't need these kinds of rules, legislations, laws, Mm-hmm. But yeah, okay. So anyway, I think a bar owner, if I opened a bar, and my theme was to hire only hot chicks as waitresses, and an unattractive, which as we determined earlier means fat girl, fat waitress comes in wanting to wear the size 0. And by the way, that's the trick that all these places do. Mm-hmm. These sexy wings. These kinds of places, that pop up everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the trick. They order the uniforms first, and all the uniforms are smalls and extra smalls and 0s. And if you can't fit into the uniform, we're sorry, we don't have a uniform that fits you. We can't hire you right now. That's how they get around it.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you ever had if you ever dated a girl who went on these job interviews, they always came back with like some teeny tiny little outfit. Yeah, this is my uniform. Oh, okay.
I would love to be the owner after doing the interview. Just look her bold face in the eyes and say, "Oh, you must not have heard that there's no more fabric in the world. This is all we have."
We're really kind of broke. We can't get another uniform. Can you fit into an extra small? Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, they're hiring at Walmart down the street. They've got a very flattering blue vest you can wear.
Yes.
To cover you up.
You can just throw that over the top of yourself.
Sam, what do you think about that? I mean, don't you think a business owner should be able to hire, like if I wanted to open a place and I wanted all the waitresses to be pretty short brunettes.
Yeah, it's like Twin Peaks and Hooters.
Right?
You're going to go in there. If you're a fat chick, you're not getting hired.
You're not. But where are all the lawsuits? Thankfully, there's not. I mean, there are some that pop up every couple of years. You know, some dude. It's always some dude. Some dude wants a job at Hooters. You know, and he can't get the job, so he's taking it to the Supreme Court. Dude, go back to school. You obviously have get up and go. Focus on something else, something that's actually going to serve you in your 30s.
My favorite thing about when we were right around 18 years old or something, when we were in school, it seemed like all of the girls that were cute in our class wanted to work at the local Hooters. And there was this one day when we told them about, I don't even know that this is true, still to this day, the one thing that they had to be able to do was stand up against the wall, and their boobs had to be able to still touch the wall. And we had a line of girls trying out in the hallway of school, and they were all just getting so upset. They're like, I'm never going to be a Hooters girl.
No. No, you're not. But Twin Peaks is hiring.
Yes.
You know? I know you wanted to be a New York Yankee, but the Tampa Bay Rays aren't bad. You know?
I just love the imagery of it now that I think of it, a ways back, where we spent all of this time in school to develop a future. And then on our last year, the girls were mad because they weren't going to make it to Hooters.
Oh, yeah.
There's something in there that, well, I guess it says something about the school system. But
I've said this before. I think that high school ends way too early.
Yeah.
I think you should be in high school all the way up to 21 years old. Because half the kids in high school don't go on to do dick.
Yeah.
They spend the next 3 years of their life. Really, how many kids did you know after high school that spent I was one of them. I spent a couple of years doing dick, doing nothing, sleeping till 11 o'clock in the morning every day, being out on a Tuesday night, especially when you turn 21. Tuesday night, nickel beer night, let's go. You know, it's like you're don't you have anything to do? No, I'm 21, man. I got nothing to do in the morning. I got nothing. I mean, so I say keep them until 21. Keep them in high school until you're 21 years old. You're a little bit older. Mm-hmm. You know.
It's actually turning into a huge problem too.
And by the way, you can stand to learn a little bit more at the high school level before we just unleash you on the world.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. The main problem that they're having right now is that kids that have been basically brought up on the internet the entire way through. One thing that you kind of pick up on the internet.
Net natives, they're called.
Net natives? Is that what they're calling them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sam and I, and possibly even you, we are called net immigrants.
Oh, okay.
Because we did not grow up with laptops on our lap. We came to the internet thing. We were already fully formed adults, and we jumped in. But net natives are who you are describing. Children who have never known anything but the internet.
Okay. Well, then net natives apparently are used to, because of their experience on the internet, used to being at the top of the totem pole, like in their virtual worlds. So they're finding that as they turn 18 and they go into the normal world, they're basically being told you're going to be a peon for the first however long of your life.
But I've got 1,200 Facebook friends.
Yeah. So it's turning into a real issue where they actually just churn down the entire job altogether if they realize that that's the way it's going to be. And so maybe there needs to be like a introduce you to the way that things are going to be.
Well, we are right now. We are feeling the brunt of the everybody's a winner generation. I mean, these are the kids that are 25, 26, at your age.
Yeah.
These are everybody.
I was told that exact thing.
Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets. You didn't lose. You came in second, and that's just grand. No, it's not. Second is the first loser. You need to learn how to lose. You need to learn how to work on what it is that you did this time that got you that glorious second place, and you need to improve on it. That's how we become better functioning people. I wonder about these kids, these net natives. Let's take your average 21-year-old kid, okay? A net native, been on the internet their entire life. The only way that they really know how to come out of their shell and socialize is in social networks, is on Twitter, is on Facebook. What are these people like when they actually have to get in a room and work side by side with coworkers?
I can only imagine. I would imagine that if you did have just a room full of these people, they would not be able to work together, like work alongside each other as well.
Well, they would sit right next to each other like Sam and I, and they would text to each other on Facebook all day. They would never actually interface. They would never actually,
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. I hope that they do a lot of studies on this because it is incredibly interesting.
I just hope that whatever they do, they're going to be in charge of it, and it's going to be the way things are because every generation just takes over at some point, and 30, 35 years old. I just hope that they're gentle with people like me, who came from, I'm the last of the great generations. I am. Everything after me went to hell in a handbasket. I heard a joke the other night. Jon Stewart was talking about college kids and what they're doing, and he said, he introduced them as those damn Gen Xers, and then he stopped and he went, oh, wait, what's that? Gen Xers are in their 40s now? Oh, we're all lost. Just like we were supposed to be the bad Gen X. We were the dystopian generation, the generation that, we were resigned to the fact that we would never do better than our parents, and because of that we quit and we gave up and we listened to grunge music and we liked to be dark and depressed. That was us. We thought it was over. Now the next generation that came up right behind us saw their older brothers, the dystopian Gen Xers, and kind of went, all right, well, as long as I'm here, I'm just going to be about me then. So they became the me generation. Gimme, 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 gimme. I want a trophy too. Why is he better than me? Because he worked harder. We should all be equal. Okay, thank you for my trophy. I mean, that's the generation that came next. But we weren't that generation. We were raised by, what my generation was screwed by?
What's that?
Hippies.
Yeah.
My generation was raised by hippies.
Yeah.
We were raised by hippies and warehoused by grandparents from the World War II generation. So we sort of had that, balance.
Right.
Where someone from the World War II generation actually had influence on us growing up. Now, an 18-year-old kid, someone from the World War II generation has nothing. They're the crazy old great granny.
Yeah.
That
never makes sense.
No, and I have to talk to her for like 5 minutes every Thanksgiving, and I hate when she kisses me on the cheek because it feels so. They have no influence from that generation.
I asked for mashed potatoes. She put peanut butter on my plate. Not making sense anymore.
Get the remote away from Grandma. I'm telling you, she's going to hit buttons. It's going to be in Spanish. We're not going to know what to do. So, yeah, I think that this generation that directly followed Generation X, which is now 30 years old, those kids are you guys are a crapshoot. I don't know what you guys are going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you didn't have the saving grace of the kids raised by hippies, which was me. So the hippies destroyed us. They just destroyed everything about us. Hippies were the first to introduce. Do you remember open classrooms?
No.
You didn't have open classrooms? Oh, my
No.
goodness. Okay, so I was in a very progressive school district growing up. And what they did was they built a bunch of schools that were essentially gigantic gymnasiums. They didn't have classrooms with 4 walls and a door. What they had were dividers, curtains that would, divide up this classroom from that classroom. And the teachers were the ones who moved classes. The students stayed in the same room, and the teachers would just come to a different class, and they would rotate around.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes, and because there weren't actual 4 walls, you could hear everything that was going on elsewhere.
Right.
So if the classroom next to you, separated by that paper-thin wall divider that was on a track that you could open and close like drapes, if the classroom here was studying and the classroom next to that was playing a game, it was asinine. It was asinine. Yet this was a revolutionary educational implementation that the hippie generation thought, no, because you see, we can't burden our children with 4 walls. I mean, how often have you just stared at those 4 walls and you're not paying attention to the teacher? Well, guess what? You got rid of the 4 walls, and now I'm not paying attention to the teacher because I see my buddy 3 classrooms over, and he's making a paper airplane, and I'm waving to him, and he's waving to me. Nothing got done.
Yeah.
And then, Sam, you remember this. Remember when they changed math on us?
No.
You don't remember new math?
What?
I don't remember much
Dude,
about my school
just
days.
Wikipedia new math. Just put it new math. New math was something that they did to me when I was about 4 years old. I suck at math to this day because I was taught new math. And I don't even remember what new math was, Because you would think if there is any consistent in this world, it would be
Right.
mathematics.
Yeah.
But they came up with a new way of teaching math and a new way for children to understand math. And guess what? It failed miserably because the architects of this new educational tool were probably stoned when they came up with it. And they understood it because they were stoned. But the rest of us, a bunch of 10-year-olds, were screwed for life because new math made absolutely no sense. Did you pull up new math? What that
Yeah,
was for people
I
who
have
don't
no
remember?
idea what any of this means.
Here, let me see it.
It's
New mathematics, or new math, was a brief dramatic change in the way mathematics was taught in American grade schools, and to a lesser extent in European countries during the 1960s. The name is I got this in the mid-1970s, so we held on to it for a while.
Wow.
The name is commonly given to a set of teaching practices introduced in the United States shortly after the Sputnik crisis. It was when they tried to convert us all to the metric system. You don't remember that?
Yeah.
It was all a part of that whole thing.
Now, was that because I wish we had gone to the metric system, to be honest.
Why?
Because everybody
We
else is
kind
on
of
it.
have. I buy
Yeah.
2 liters of soda.
Right.
Okay? That's
Like we're I think it's us in what is I think that there's like one other country that they're still holding on to this imperial system. But like it just makes sense. Everybody else is talking in Celsius and meters and
kilometers.
yeah, and like we have to every single time someone puts kilometers, I have to go and like do the actual breakdown of like what it breaks down to in miles.
Do you know how I do that in my mind?
How's that?
1 kilometer is 1 mile. Shut up. That's in my mind. That's how it is.
It's gonna be a long trip.
I know. But in my mind, that makes sense to me. Okay, so it's like a pound. It's kind of like $1.
Yeah.
Okay, even though a pound is worth a lot more.
No,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, especially with that conversion. The pound every single time I'll just be like, surely we haven't gotten that bad.
Every single
Like,
time.
yeah.
World traveler, are you?
No, I do a lot of ridiculous things I probably don't even need to spend time on.
well, there's a new math example here because they said that it's it emphasizes the mathematical structure through abstract concepts like set theory and number basis.
Abstract. Perfect for a 7-year-old.
Yeah, other than 10.
Here, let me read some. Go back. Let me read some of these criticisms. By the way, new math is what we're talking about. We're discussing this girl, this 21-year-old entitled pregnant girl who was kicked off of a bar top for dancing. She claims it was because she wasn't pretty enough, and the bar is saying, no, it's because you were pregnant. That's why we didn't want you on the bar top. And we're talking about maybe some of the things that have led to the creation of this generation of entitled, awful people. And I was giving an example of new math, how they screwed me up with open classrooms and new math. Parents and teachers who opposed the new math in the U.S. complained that the new curriculum was too far outside of students' ordinary experience and was not worth taking time away from more traditional topics, such as arithmetic. Yeah, 1 and 1. Here was the problem. This was, whatever the criticisms are, I will tell you firsthand what the problem with new math was. No kid could come home from school, open up that book, say to his parent, I need help with this. Because the parents would look at it and go, the hell is this? What is new math? The parents had no frame of reference on how to help. With regular arithmetic, everyday life is a teaching lesson.
Yeah.
With your kid, everything is numbers. You can teach a kid arithmetic through any number of means. But with this new math, whose parents were lost.
It also said many teachers were lost because they didn't know it either, and they're trying to teach it.
Right, yeah, it was just ridiculous. So, between that, the hippie educational implementations of my generation, we had the open classrooms where no boundaries. Come on, we're not warehousing these kids. They're not educational veal. Let's knock down all the walls. Let's free their minds so that they can. No! Kids in the 5th and 6th grade don't need their minds freed. Kids in the 5th and 6th grade have a problem with their minds being free. That's why they doodle on all of their little papers, and that's what kids do. What they need in 5th and 6th grade is structure. They need to be forced to focus. And you know what? I'd say go one step further. Go in the opposite direction. Not only put the damn walls back up in the classroom, but get rid of the windows. Or, at the very least, draw the blinds. Make sure that there is nothing for those kids to look at. except the teacher in the lesson plan.
Because you're way too ADD. You can just have your attention just go anywhere. You already have the girls in there to take your attention from you already.
Right.
And then, on top of it, I had kind of a similar experience in my 7th grade year. Mine was based on they didn't have any funding to do the new wing of the school.
Okay.
So basically, they just improvised. And
Trailers?
No, it wasn't trailers. What they did is they had like these half walls that they would put in there. And it was basically just dividers. And you couldn't see the entire other rooms next to you. But if you were crafty and you had a friend that was in the one next to you, you would just make sure that you were in opposite sides of the room so you could look at each other and throw things to each other and stuff like that. We basically got nothing accomplished that year. I mean, we were just basically constantly throwing information around to each other, letting each other in on what was going on in the room next to them.
Yes, because kids, anything that's different is that's what. Did you ever have like what they call in-school suspension or something like that?
Uh-huh.
I don't know about your school, but in my school, that was in the basement in the boiler room. There was nothing to look at. There were no windows. It was, cinder block walls and desks, and you sat in there for 7 hours a day or however long your school day was.
Yep.
Well, I don't even remember how long my school day was. And you sat there and you did nothing to look at, nothing to be distracted by.
Yeah, we had big desks that would actually go to the side of us, and we'd have to be in the middle of it. So you'd just be basically everybody would write on the desks the entire day, and most of us would just share acid.
Really?
Yeah.
You did acid in
Yeah,
school suspension?
we would just stare at the desks and draw.
Hey, does anybody know, does that plug not work? Sorry.
Oh, there's one right behind me you can plug into.
Because I've been plugged in charging this whole time. And my
I think
computer
some of the
just
plugs
died.
in it don't work, but there's one right behind me.
Yeah, I would use that one.
That
All right,
one works.
well, why don't we do this? By the way, if you're in Iowa at the University of Iowa this weekend, stop on by the protest at the Union City Bar. I'm sure that they'd love to hear your support or your condemnation of their cause. Once again, they are protesting a bar that wouldn't let a pregnant woman dance on the tabletops.
Surely there's going to be a counter-protest, right? There's going to be something.
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
But here's the problem again, and it goes back to these damn kids, these damn 21-year-old kids. Little girl, are you insane? You're pregnant. You should be humiliated that you were even called. You shouldn't have been in the bar in the first place, let alone dancing on a tabletop. And then when they told you, hey, sweet cheeks, you're pregnant, get off the bar tabletop. This doesn't look good for you. It doesn't look good for us. And really, it's a huge liability because you're carrying an under 21 person in your belly, and we can't have anything happen to him in here. You should slink away in shame. You don't get on your Facebook page and your Twitter account and rally the troops and then have... Honestly, you should be ashamed of yourself if you're participating in this damn protest out in front of this bar. You are supporting a woman who is pregnant who wanted to dance on a bar. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll do more. Is that good? All right, that's what we're going to do. It's the Bar Live. Pugs Moran in for a Wednesday. Jimmy Ryan, Sam the Mailman here. When we come back, we're going to talk about a pretty little girl who was, a writer for Sports Illustrated. I'm sorry, ESPN.com. She got herself into a little bit of trouble. Is she really a pretty little girl, or is she a 40-something-year-old unemployed sports writer looking for a gimmick? And, of course, Kate Upton's boobs. All that and more coming up as thebarlive.com continues on thebarlive.com.
Shawty say she wanna lick me